Violence killed more people than car crashes in Wisconsin over the last 10 years.
Now, the stats don't track how many were due to firearms, but the families affected tell us there's more to the story than just the numbers. Tonight, News 3's Jessica Arp has more on the tremendous impact of gun violence and the researcher looking to change the trend.
Fun, always laughing, wanting to make people laugh.
Photos of a smile are what Carolyn and Vicky Seichter hold on to.
His smile. That's like the one thing everybody says is they're going to miss that smile.
The teenage smile of 17-year-old Marcus.
He was the big protector of the family, being the only boy.
Their protector, who they say they couldn't protect on December 22nd of last year.
I'm still in disbelief of it.
Grandma Vicky says she dropped Marcus off at his best friend's house on 8th Street in Beloit and went home to grab a forgotten school application.
When I got there, there were squad cars and police everywhere. And the police that were outside, I told them, I dropped my grandson off here and I was going to take him to school. And they said he'd been taken to the hospital and with a gunshot wound to his head, and they didn't know his condition.
Police say Marcus and his best friend, 17-year-old Nikolai Wasilewski, were playing with a revolver they'd stolen when Wasilewski accidentally shot Seichter in the face. He died at the hospital.
I don't know how he was shot the way he was shot. I don't know if he was pointing it at him, if it fell, I don't know. And until I get those answers, I'm not going to know where to place my anger.
Dr. Stephen Hargarten, director of the Medical College of Wisconsin's Injury Research Center, is looking for answers.
Gunshot wounds from the kinetic energy that bullets impart to the victim is a disease.
A biosocial disease, which he says has parallels to an epidemic of car crashes in the 1950s and 60s.
At the time, cars and car crash deaths, were largely felt to be a behavioral issue. Drive more carefully. And in the 60s, there was a paradigm shift of viewing this as a public health disease, a public health burden, of looking at driver behavior, highway design, and car design.
Hargarten says we added seatbelts, airbags, and that logic has never been applied to guns.
There are now more firearm deaths than car deaths in sections of Wisconsin, like Milwaukee.
He showed us older guns with design flaws.
The hammer against the firing pin, the bullet in the chamber, if they drop it, goes off.
And guns with safety features to prevent children's use that aren't commonly repeated.
You can't pull the trigger without gripping this.
That he compares to other products more heavily regulated.
There you go. So what did you have to do? You had to push in both places.
Hargarten says while some resist changes to design, it's not meant with an aim at restricting the constitutional right to keep and bear arms.
This disease has a political environment in which to be conversant in and discuss, but this is in no way impairs anyone's ability, from what I've just been discussing, at all to own a firearm. It's access to it that is of concern to many of us, or it's access to a product that is unsafely designed.
I don't blame the gun, I blame the person behind the gun.
The person behind the gun that killed Marcus Seichter is now facing a trial for homicide by negligent use of a weapon.
I won't be able to ever forgive him, but I don't want him to pay with his own life.
Unable to forgive and without their son and grandson, Caroline and Vicky have turned to sharing their story.
Most of all, you just have to make people understand that guns are not toys. They're dangerous.
And sharing their pain.
It's a pain that you can't describe. I literally have a hole in my heart that will never be filled.
In Beloit, Jessica Arp, WISC News 3.
And the Injury Research Center is currently studying the number of firearm-related suicides in Wisconsin and whether rates are going up or going down.
And they're also tracking assaults reported to emergency rooms, mapping them. Dr. Hargarten says research done in Wales showed that tracking and early intervention reduced homicide rates by up to 30%.